Guys, welcome back to the Match App Podcast with myself, Paul Ciano, and Christopher Shea. As you can remember from the...
Ooh, thank God I can take a breath.
And he's wearing one of his favorite... Like I said, I'm a fan of those shirts.
Got an itch right here. This is another itch over here.
Take it easy. Don't
I don't want to hear the seams.
Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. So, but first and foremost, we need to shit on our other co-host, Frank Ciano, who is not here today simply because he...
Is not a good shot. He's this big hunter, but he's obviously not a good shot. Because I can tell you something. I shoot something, it dies.
It goes down.
It goes down and it dies.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
I think the hunting terminology, if it's brown, it goes down, right? Something like that. But anyway.
And if it's yellow, that's a different terminology.
Yeah, so he's supposed to be here, and we get a text message. I still haven't found it. Well, to preface that real quick before we begin, he's on a hunting trip, or he's hunting today with his cousin, and basically he shoots a deer with a 30-06. Okay, sends us a picture, right? We all got the picture, right? We all got it.
Yep.
And you can see he's tracking the blood, whatever. Well, about an hour before the podcast we begin to to shoot, I'm still looking for this thing.
Frank, you see this, right?
No good. But here's the thing. This is the second time it's happened with him. First was with a bow.
Oh, that's right.
Remember?
Yeah. And he couldn't find it.
And
never found it.
He hasn't found it. So now it's rifle season in upstate New York where he's at, and he shot another deer with a very high caliber weapon, and guess what? Can't find it. Can't find it, and here he is. So,
I think it's time to go back to the range. It's almost like golf. If you just spend some more time on the putting green or on the driving range,
exactly.
You're better off.
Hone your skills.
That's it. He needs to hone his skills because I'm telling you right now.
Which golfing do you do, Shane?
Oh, we did a golfing as kids.
Oh, you don't even
go to the golf course
and wreck
the golf. Just to drive the golf carts to wreck them. Yeah. Okay.
We're skidding on the greens. Oh man.
Dutcher golf course, pull to New York. Kicked out of there many a time.
Oh, many a time.
Many times for that.
They probably have pictures of us up there saying, these people are not allowed on course.
Banned. It's a big thing. Banned.
You're probably watching Match Chat now.
Yeah.
And,
look at those two punks.
Those
But the funny part is they let us come back like every time, which is crazy. We didn't get banned.
I would come in with the glasses with a mustache and a different nose so they would know it was me.
So anyway, Frank Ciano, get to the range. It's bad. So guys and gals, we have a very, 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 very good topic today. It's pretty controversial. Will be to some, but we're going to dive right into it. So, listen, obviously you all know we're all BJJ practitioners here. It's part of our lifestyle. It's the martial art. It's et cetera, et cetera. So something was posted on social media by Gordon Ryan. And I'm going to read it out loud because this is today's topic matter. And it's something that I've agreed with since day one, to be honest with you. And we'll get into it. And others may dispute it, but he's kind of right. So Gordon speaks about the beginning stages of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And how it all started in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And this is to quote him. He says, "I love how people say BJJ is built around respect and honor. No, it's not, with an exclamation point. It's built around savage Brazilians kicking the shit out of people just because they could, storming gyms of other martial arts and fighting their instructors to show just how superior BJJ was. And while I think that's fucking awesome, it's not the fairy tale you guys tell about respect and honor. This sport is built around real men who didn't give a fuck and took what they wanted." Gordon Ryan. This is a meme or meme, whatever they call it, that was put up on, at least I saw it on Facebook. It's probably everywhere else, but good, so I'll put it back down. So
you got it.
It really struck a chord with me because, just to begin, when I started my journey in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I always told anyone that knows me, and from when I started, I always told everybody and always said this, I was an athlete first and I was a martial artist second, okay? That it was all about that part of the journey for me, I love jits, I'm enthralled by it, I gravitated to it, but to what this man is saying here right now, that is the truth. That is the truth. So it's kind of an oxymoron. Listen, is there respect and honor in martial arts? Yes. Okay. Is there more so in a traditional form? Yes. Okay. But these are the roots. This is exactly where it came from. It's just like wrestling. Wrestling came from the Greco-Roman, from Greco-Roman empires, and it was like, okay, we're going to put two guys in the middle of a coliseum, and they're going to kick the crap out of each other, and we're going to see exactly who the big dog is. Right. And then it went. That's what they used to train the Spartans and everything else, and that's where it came from. I.e., the oldest martial art, being wrestling. But this is exactly the truth. So when you come from a lineage of basically, when Hoist Gracie showed the rest of the world, yeah, we'll kick the shit out of all of you, okay? And he did it.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, and he did it, and there you have it. So when he posted this, I was like, wow, I've been saying that for a long time. Let me shut up. I know you want to jump in.
Here's my thought. If you first start something, you need to take the world by storm. And in a fighting style, what better way to do that than to challenge the best of each system?
Correct.
To see what truly is the best, because these guys everyone's a proponent of, oh, my system's the best, we're the biggest, we're the strongest, we're the fastest, and we're the toughest.
Correct.
The only way to truly find that out, and that's why the start of the UFC or the start of MMA, no holds barred fighting, made it so interesting, is because you took, if you remember the first one, you had a sumo wrestler, you had a small little guy who was a monkey style.
You had a savate guy, you had a karate guy, you had a jiu-jitsu guy, you had wrestlers, you had everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my point is, if you truly want to find out what the best system is, you have to do this.
Right.
And it's the quickest and most profound way to get your name out there. They could have easily have come here and started doing some tournaments and started doing some of these things and started doing some teaching and spreading their roots. But if you really want to explode, which is what this did, and let's be honest, thank God.
Correct.
Okay, thank God it did. If you want to do that, you have to go there. I mean, remember that whole time with Sifu Lapham?
Same thing, yeah.
I thought I was a badass, and we walked in there and he tuned me up. Okay? Yeah. But let's be honest, that's the best way in a combat sport to find out just how good you are. Hey, tie your shoes on, get in the center of the ring, and see what happens.
You're 1,000% correct, and I think even more so to make it deeper is that this, where it came from a country filled with alpha males. Yep. Okay, we're gonna show we don't give a shit. We'll fight everybody. Okay, and that's where Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu came from. Right. And he's 1,000% right. You know, the Gracie challenge matches, the matches on the street, yeah. The matches on the beach. I mean, it's all chronicled. You can't make it up.
No, you can't.
So that's when, like, what he's trying to say is like, oh, respect. But
hold on. Now this was the other part I wanted to say.
Sure.
From my perspective, I've been in traditional styles where the respect level is definitely higher as far as, and I don't mean it's not respectful in BJJ, because it totally is.
It's more relaxed than BJJ.
But that's what I was going to say.
Has
but it's relaxed.
Right.
It is relaxed. And having said that, I mean, I walk in there, I refer to everybody as sir, ma'am. I follow the traditional styles.
I agree with you.
Only because I believe in the respect. So from what I know of BJJ, it's still very respectful, but it's not like this.
Right.
But let's be honest. Somebody comes into our school, you know we're going to put them with the badasses to see where they are, if depending on their belt. Does that make sense?
Well, no doubt.
Yeah.
But again, it refers back to what I'm trying to say is that the respect that comes through BJJ is through humbling.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not through. It's not a given. It's not a given.
It's not.
It's you got your ass kicked.
Right.
Thank you, sir. I want to learn what you do.
So
yes,
how
Peter.
come it's a non-Brazilian making that statement as opposed to a Brazilian making that statement?
You know what?
Do you think?
I'm going to say as a non-Brazilian that more or less that they probably don't see it that way, to play the devil's advocate. Trust me, they definitely see it that way as far as being the superior martial art, and they should. Yeah. But the reality of it is, as it's evolved, here's my take on it. My take on it is this. Has jiu-jitsu, does it calm you emotionally? Hell yeah, it does. Does it make you think clearer when you're getting angry or you're getting, nuts? It has done for me a ton.
Is it an outlet for all those energies?
Yeah. Does it do those things? So I think that part of it, like they always say, jiu-jitsu gives you back so much more than you could ever give to it. Then you take so much more from it than you ever give. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So from that context, I think it's moved to that. But the cold hard truth is, it comes from badassery.
No question.
Period.
It has
the story.
Not
badassery.
from gentleness?
What?
Not from gentleness?
There's no, listen, the biggest crime, the biggest Misnomer in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the gentle art. It is not gentle. Okay? It is not gentle.
You can go into the room right now and see going, don't touch my elbow, please stay off of my neck. I got my fingers taped, my wrist is off, my ankles are taped up.
Even when you, again, Jiu-Jitsu is the beauty of being able to go full go and not incapacitating your partner for not being able to go to work the next day. I mean, that's the beauty of it, you know? Listen, go do that for 10 rounds of boxing. You're not going to work. You know what I mean? You may be in a hospital.
Full go.
Yeah, exactly. So my point is that at the
that's almost with any martial art.
Yeah, but it's not gentle. And that's the joke. We all laugh about it. At least we do. It's like there's nothing gentle about it. Trust me.
And as you get older, it seems a lot harder.
A lot harder. But listen, you become more technical and you become more savvy and all these other things. But at the end of the day, this comes from badassery. And that's where jiu-jitsu comes from. The respect part comes from the humbling. You started as the nail and then you become the hammer. And it's a continual cycle. And even when you think you're the hammer, you can become the nail the next day.
There's another hammer who's bigger than you.
Why? Badassery 101 again. Yeah. This is the point. So it was to prove those. It was to prove that and continue to prove it. And that's why he sees. And I can't speak for Gordon because I don't know him or of him other than his competitive endeavors. But from a competitor / fighter from the outside looking in, the guy's a stud saying, man, this was designed to whoop people's asses and show people we'll whoop your ass. Yeah. I mean, that's what it came down to.
And if you doubt it, here's my challenge.
Here's a challenge.
Here's my challenge.
It's what it came from, you know. And and just to backtrack a little to what you said. Listen, we've talked about John Carlo on this podcast a bunch of times. Listen, I watched that man. I was with that man. Whether it was at another school or people coming to our school at the time, we handed out discipline for this exact same reason. Oh, really? Let me show you
what I got.
Let me show you what I got then, okay? And I watched him do it with open hands, closed hands. I watched him do it over and over and over again based on this.
And that's a testament of,
it's a testament on where it comes from. Yeah. That's the point. You have to remember, if you want to talk history, boxing, before Marcus of Queensberry rules was a brutal. There was no time limit. It was unlimited rounds. You could take guys down. You could throw guys. You could choke guys, and you could punch them. It actually was the start of mixed martial arts in the United States of America until they cleaned it up. And made it fisticuffs. Yeah. But at the same time, guess what? And I think it translates. The one thing about that this statement that Gordon Ryan made translates into modern day mixed martial arts is this. You can look at a guy's record in mixed martial arts, okay, and say, okay, he's got 10 losses and 20 wins, okay? In boxing, that guy's a bum, okay? In MMA, that guy's not. That guy's not because of the way the sport was, where it came from. And it came from this, saying we'll fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. And that's why the records don't reflect the true caliber of fighter sometimes in mixed martial arts, because jiu-jitsu has such an impact because it comes from this badassery, and I hate to keep saying the word, but it's just to keep it consistent, right? It comes from that, like, I'll fight you right now, anywhere, anytime. And it still translates in MMA. That's why you rarely see, unless you're freaks like John Jones and Nurmagomedov, these guys that have one loss or no losses, These are the things. They're not a Floyd Mayweather who picked tomato cans his whole career, towards the end of it at least. So at the end of the day, that's where it comes from. So there's no truer statement, as to it. So the respect and honor part of it, I get it. But it's a side
you said it perfectly. The respect and honor comes from humbling.
Yes.
It doesn't come from a given. It doesn't come from I joined the school, so I have to learn respect.
Right.
It's like a lot of these parents send their children at a young age to martial arts schools to learn respect. In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's something that's taught, but it's taught through action.
Correct.
It's not taught through. It's not taught through. This is how you're supposed to be, and this is how we act.
Right.
You walk on the mat. You go against somebody better than you. You learned humility, and you learned it quickly.
Exactly.
Or you broke something or went to sleep.
Exactly.
So why do you think the Brazilians don't kind of push that, what you just read, publicly? They're kind of cleaning it up, making it nicer, like the philosophy, instead of going out and just being full of bravado, even if it's true. It's toned down.
Well, they don't have to do it anymore. They've already proved all this.
Right.
They had to do
No, but I'm
this.
saying you're doing the opposite of.
Yeah, now they're doing the opposite.
Because,
Because,
because
saying.
yeah, well, and I'll tell you why they're
They're
doing the
slowing it
opposite.
down.
Because now they're trying to sell it to everybody else. Now it's big business. Let's be honest. There's a jiu-jitsu school, Brazilian jiu-jitsu school, in every town almost now. It's because you know why? Because of this right here. Because of what the founding fathers, if you will, started.
That's right.
Everybody wants to be a badass. No one wants to take martial arts because they want to be okay.
Right.
They want to be able to kick everybody's ass.
And on top of that, too, just to be to give you some facts and some statistics, and again, I may be off a point or two, but I'm going to go down the line. It reverts back to what he's saying. Jiu-jitsu is hard. There's nothing gentle about it, okay? That's why 88% of people quit at blue belt, okay?
Really?
Yes. Yeah. That's why 18% only make it to purple belt. That's why less than 2% make it to brown belt, and less than 1% make it to black belt. That's why. Because of this.
I didn't realize.
Yes.
And let's be honest.
Those are the statistics. Those are the numbers. Everyone go look them up. I think I'm exactly on point with those numbers. Wow. Okay, just from memory. And that's why. Because this isn't easy.
And it's also, and as much as they're trying to make it, like I just talked about, big business and sell it to the kids.
Right.
Let's be honest. If you're a kid, I know 10-year-olds that are second-degree black belts.
Don't get me started.
I know. Well, you know 16-year-olds that are unbelievable, but they're still, until they hit 16, they're not even getting a blue belt in BJJ.
Yeah, you have to go through the whole system.
That's one of the things that kind of tell you this style or this martial art is more about becoming a badass than it is about promoting you to black belt, because that's why only 1% or less than 1% become one.
It minimally takes 10 years. And the other part of it is, if you relate it to American martial arts like boxing and wrestling, you can't go into those gyms and not think you're not going to get punched or be taken down or smashed.
Right.
Okay? You go to a wrestling gym or a boxing gym, you're getting punched. Okay? You go to a wrestling room, you're getting taken down, you're getting mauled.
Right.
All right? So even when you come into a jiu-jitsu room, listen, just learning the techniques alone. It's something that's so difficult because even if you come from a traditional sports background, listen, it's better, it's easier rather if you have some athletic ability. I mean, there's all these intangibles that come in there. But at the end of the day, it's hard. There's nothing gentle about it. And that's why the process even leans more towards what Gordon Ryan has said. Yeah, right. Okay? Because it's about whooping asses.
Yeah, it is.
And mastering it.
And everybody's an ass whooper until they get their ass whooped.
Exactly. And it changes and evolves so much that if you don't stay on the curve, okay, you fall off. Like for me, I may offend some people now, but I personally don't care. It's like, oh, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Okay, when's the last time you trained? 10 years ago. We're not a black belt anymore.
Right.
That's in my opinion. If you haven't been training, if you haven't been teaching, if you haven't been doing something to stay in the art, you're not that anymore. That's
you may be something, but you're not that.
Right. You're not that anymore. Especially if you're touting a black belt. Are you black belt level if you walk on the mat after taking off for 10 years? Taking off a year. That's how quick it moves.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's all relative to age and size and weight. But my point is that for me reverts right back to this. Right back to this. That's the point.
There's no hiding in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
No, there's no hiding in any of it.
It's just a Shea roll.
It's just the Shea roll. The Shea roll is you can hide for 6 minutes.
That's it. You can fake it a little bit.
That's the gentleness of the
art.
That's
the Shayness is the gentleness of the art.
That is it. That is it.
And that's all there is. Because it's either that or you're sitting on the side watching.
Right.
I've heard stories. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
Someone who's involved in martial arts. They're doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now, but they told me they went to some place to study something for a year, and they made the student hold a position so the instructor could actually apply the move.
Sure.
Not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, some other.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm. Throw a punch and they throw it and it just stays there so he can then do what he needs to do.
And it's well, just hold your foot there. Okay, let her get in position to do this. Okay, and say and I was just really? I was like, are you kidding me?
Well, it reverts back to what Chris said before about the 10-year-old black belt.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not a black belt. Your kid's not a black belt. Too bad.
Well, the parents are whacked out.
Well, they're whacked out.
The parents,
Listen,
they tell you that, and I just laugh. I just smirk.
They're not.
Like, what's so funny?
It's like I said, your kid's a 10-year-old or 11, 12-year-old black belt. Well, guess what? I got a 12-year-old wrestler. And we'll let them fight. We'll see how long it lasts. I mean, who's wrestled since he's 5 years old.
It was funny because we went to a party once, and we're going to leave names out,
right.
and we had to get warned that the kid was a 10-year-old black belt.
I remember that.
and not to
insult them, you know. And we try not to, but the problem with this, just to put a cap on that topic, is that those people, they believe that bullshit.
I know.
And like, you have to either just disengage or walk away because, you know,
there's no convincing.
Yeah, being martial artists and you know, and for me being a black belt, I just want to say, are you nuts? Are you crazy? Yeah. You know, you put your kid in whatever it is,
right?
Or they're picking them up at school and they go there and there's a chalkboard and they teach you respect, sit, stand, eat your meals 3 times. You know, all these things that your parents should be doing. So anyway. Again, to your point, I couldn't agree more. So it becomes a scenario where, as much as anyone may try to water down Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, this is where it comes from. Period. End the story. That's why, like you said, if they're trying to, you know, to make it a business, which it has become a business.
Oh, yeah.
You could make it a business all you want. At the end of the day, you still got to come in, you still got to drill, you still got to roll, you still got to come, you still got to do all these things to make it applicable.
Do you think it's a martial art, BJJ I'm talking about, that, is it unique in a sense that you could go balls to the wall with top level black belts, and maybe, I noticed in a few other martial arts, you can't do that because they get angry at you for being disrespectful?
Yeah.
I
agree with that too.
Wrong, or is that
no, I agree. Listen,
can you elaborate on that?
If you want to talk about what it is to be a black belt, part of that is that. You know what I mean? Is a matter like I tell all of you guys, as you know, listen, your job is to try and beat me. My job is.
Shay never looks like he's trying.
You better watch it. Now you're at strike 2.
I got it on video.
But to your point, anyone that knows me knows I've told everyone that. You know, for me, my training comes when I'm going with. You know, I'm going with Leo, or I'm going with, you know, with Philippe, or I'm going with Moreno, or I'm going with.
That was God saying, Peter, watch your tone with me.
Yeah. But that's my training. You know, when I'm going with Mike Palladino, I'm going with all the guys on our team. You know, or other black belts that come to visit. That's when I'm getting my training. Yeah. My job is to train everyone else.
And here's the other thing too. The one nice thing about jiu-jitsu is you go 100%.
Yeah, no doubt. Whereas
other styles, all right, I'm gonna take a shot to your groin. Well, you know they're not hitting them at 100%. Or I'm gonna do a throat punch. Those are things you can't practice at 100%.
Those are street techniques, kid. Save your life.
But you know? the point I'm trying to make is like, and Palladino says this really well when he talks about Krav Maga. Krav Maga, whatever you pronounce it. Yeah. Exactly. He's like, you know what? Those guys don't practice at 100%. And when you don't practice something at 100%, you don't know how effective it's going to be when you have to go 100%.
That's right.
At least with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you know how you're used to going at 100%, or in my case, you know, a little bit less. 80-20, 80-20. So you know what you have to offer. You know what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Right.
And when the other guy's going at 100% to try and defend you,
right,
you have a legitimate fight, if you will.
Right.
With rules.
What I find funny in the whole jiu-jitsu thing, because there's a lot of politics involved, and anyone says there isn't, they're full of shit.
Oh boy.
Yeah, is that all these guys, like, yeah, who doesn't talk to this one, who doesn't talk to that one, right? Who did this, who did that? Well, just fight. Go back to the roots. Yeah. Just, if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, just pick a spot, pick a neutral location. Don't do it in the street, obviously, because you don't want anyone to get arrested, but you know, go.
Do you recommend they sign a waiver?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely sign the waiver. On a joking side, if you go to a school for a challenge match, sign the waiver. You know what I mean? Because you beat somebody up. You don't want to hear that you went in there and, you know, and you were, you know, being X, Y, and Z. But my point is, that's what I find funny. It's like, oh, they all pontificate. I've been around it. This one pontificates, that one pontificates, this one doesn't do this one, this one's going to do that, yada, yada, yada. And I've also heard stories where guys have made those challenges and said, you know, particular situation I was told by a very good friend of mine where he went to another individual school and said, shut the cameras off, close the doors, we're going to settle this. That's old school Brazilian stuff.
We actually, a guy in our school did that, and a guy was preaching that he was a black belt. You remember? He showed up there and said, okay, let's roll. The guy was like, no, I'm good.
Right. Right. Yeah, no. Yeah. Listen.
So
you're not mentioning names?
We're not mentioning names, but here's the cool part. That's a good measuring stick.
Well, it's a great measuring stick, but it reverts back to what I'm trying to say.
And it reverts right back to this. So
just settle it.
Yeah.
Just say if you're a true jiu-jitsu guy, gal, then improve it.
And the nice thing is you can go 100% without anybody getting that hurt because you can tap.
Yeah. Well, listen, in those particular instances, maybe no one wants a tap. Maybe it's got to go to a finish. A finish meaning a tap could be a finish, but maybe someone needs to be choked out.
Right.
You know, whatever the case may be. You know, obviously it'll be under some type of supervision, but all this infighting that takes place between jiu-jitsu guys go back to where it started. Make believe you're on the beach in fucking Rio and have it out.
Right.
Well, you have a whole other episode about the politics of BJJ.
Yeah, we get into that another time.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
But point being is, if you keep circling around it, around everything we've talked about today, it goes back to this. It goes back to this. This would solve a lot of the problems that happen in jiu-jitsu. You know, and because if they would just relate to this. But again, you're going to have these guys that, you know, oh, it's respect and honor. Of course it is. Yeah. But it's through humbling. Yeah. That's why. It's through humbling, and grace comes with the humbling, and understanding what the process is, and respecting each other because you've all been through that process.
In the other styles, respect is just you walk in there, you put their belt on, and you show the respect. In jiu-jitsu, it's a process, just like you said. It's a process. You may be able to beat everybody up on one day, and so you have some respect, and then you get your ass handed to you the next day. You have a lot more respect, and the further you go through this, the more respect you get for everybody involved. Even the lower belts.
It's a never-ending process.
Correct.
Period. You know, never-ending process.
I always laugh when a traditional martial artist comes in here and they hear like music playing as we're training. And someone said to me once, like, I don't understand. How could they be playing music and it's a martial art? But that person got their ass whooped the whole time.
No, that's ultimately what it comes down to.
I think the music on, just so that you know right before you're about to go out, you go, man, I don't hear any music. I better tap this.
At least it keeps the senses vibrating. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Paul Ciotto, Christopher Shea, producer extraordinaire, Peter Olberg, and Frank Ciotto screwed us today on this episode.
F you.
Exactly. We'll catch you guys next time. Have a great day.